he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, welcome to the think tank. Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day out here. How are you guys doing? We have 20 Celsius. I don't even know what our high is, but 20 is pretty comfortable for me. We've been getting rained on, which is good because that's not something that most of Canada is getting right now. It's a little bit scary. So I started a little bit early, and yet I started a little bit late. I was set for 11, and I had to change it. So Mexi says to me, "Go lay down and let your dogs lick your face." So I did it, and oh my God, I should do that every day. Best idea ever. Not only did they lick my face, I had like a 70-pound dog laying on me. The other one had her body pressed against me. I tried to get up and it was like, what? Yeah, that was awesome. So today we're going to talk about, oh my God, James Burke. I've been doing a little bit of digging. I wanted to know who the cops were below Burke and how they were feeling about a lot of this stuff. And I also wanted to look a little bit into Mcparkland. Oh, and I don't think I put his name on there. Okay, it'll come to me. So yeah, I missed a name on there. There is a lot going on, or was going on back there. And I think now that everybody is not as terrified as they once were, bad guys have had to deal with incarceration, which is, when you've got some power, the last thing you want, especially with some of the charges they had. So a lot of them were convicted. But then there was a few of them that also spoke out about what Sheriff James Burke was doing in the time that he was running the area. Because everything we've heard, I mean, there's documents out there, allegedly, that all of this is documented. Burke has been to court. And he went, 46 months, I think? And then he got out. He behaved himself since 2018. And then he got busted at Pickle Park. So there's that. So I have a bit here that I want to go through. And it's basically telling us the who's who of, what was that guy's name? Damn, he's up here as well. But I wanted to go from the more superior that were involved in this down to some of the people that were, do not talk about this. So let's take a boo. Back on a different platform here again, back and forth. But okay, I think this is the one we want. Let's see here. And if there, I'll put myself back down here so you get a better. I don't get a lot of options on this platform. No. I don't even, no, it doesn't even let me move it around. So, ex-Suffolk District Attorney Tom Spota. That's the one I didn't put up there. Spota. And I think I'll change that right now while I can. I'll put him in with McParkland because those two, some big wigs that kept a lot of stuff to themselves. Okay. So let's take a look at him. So again, ex-Suffolk District Attorney Tom Spota sentenced to 5 years in prison in corruption case. So let's take a look at this.
In addition to his sentence, Spota also has to pay a $100,000 fine. He has to report to.
I forgot about that, Spota. Not only does he get convicted and has to go to prison, he also got a $100,000 fine.
Prison on December 10th. It appears that his lawyer is going to file an appeal of this sentence.
Oh, is that what the hell's going on here?
Spectrum TV customers, you have lost ABC7, including ABC7 Eyewitness News, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and more. Call 833-KEEP-MY-NETS to keep these networks.
Okay, are you going to
Key West to the Jersey Shore to Long Island, fans are pouring margaritas and toasting to Jimmy Buffett, the singer who built himself a big.
Okay. I don't know why they do this. It said like it was 2 minutes and some, gave us 3 seconds and it was on to something else. Central Islip, Long Island, former Suffolk County District Attorney Tom Spota was sentenced to 5 years in prison following his 2019 conviction for helping cover up for a former protege who was police chief who punched and handcuffed a man suspected of stealing embarrassing items from his police department SUV, including adult toys and pee. Right? Oh, so what we have to remember is this was in his police department SUV. So this Suffolk County District Attorney was sentenced for 5 years. Thomas Spota, and a $100,000 fine. Yeah. The jury determined that Spota conspired with Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke and former Anti-Corruption Bureau Chief Christopher McFarland to pressure witnesses to not cooperate with an FBI investigation into the 2020 assault. So look at how high up that one is. Anti-Corruption Bureau Chief. What? McFarland was also sentenced to 5 years in prison Tuesday. Eyewitness News learned it appears Spota and McFarland will appeal their sentences, as they do. U.S. District U.S. District Court Judge Joan Azrick told Spota and McFarland that they violated the public's trust and described their actions as unconscionable and as shocking criminal conduct. Azrick said no one is above the law. Well, you know what? I think those guys did there for a few years. I mean, they were ahead of everything. The whole bunch of them. You guys, is chat working okay? It's kind of being strange, this platform right now. So I just want to make sure everything's working. You can hear me fine. All good, guys? Yay. Thank you so much. Okay. So instead of serving the people of Suffolk County, these defendants brazenly abused their exceptional positions of power and public trust to protect their friends and hurt their enemies. Acting U.S. Attorney Jacqueline, Cuseless said, First Assistant U.S. Attorney Nicole Boakman said Spota and Mcparkland got exactly what they deserved. Oh, right. Oh my God. Like, it should have been a very, very long sentence. They were people that we were supposed to, well, Americans, that area was supposed to look up to, and that's no good. I'm sorry, grabbing a bone. You know, Jazzy, she runs the house. Alrighty, so these sentences sent the right message to the public that they can have their faith in the criminal justice system. That system is not broken, she said. Oh, well, that's interesting too. I hope not to die in prison alone, the 79-year-old Spota told U.S. District Judge Joan Azrick before hearing his penalty, calling his conviction the lowest part in his life and saying he feared and expected it would be his legacy. Well, what did you think? Like, what? Ugh, the what? Lawyers for Spota and McFarland, who is 55, had argued home confinement was a more appropriate sentence. According to federal prosecutors, Spota considered anyone cooperating with the investigation into Burke a rat, demanded that a police officer find out who the cooperating, and threatened the informants would never work in Suffolk County again. Like, they were the highest of the high at the time. Anybody that should have been getting rid of Burke kind of had it in his pocket. Spot and Burke had a kinship that dated to the ex-chief's teenage years in the late 1970s, when he was a star witness in a deleting case that Spota was prosecuting. Unreal. Yeah, I'm sorry, but there is a point. Spota later was the one who hired Burke to work in his office as an investigator. And then he promoted him to chief investigator and vouched for him when he was appointed chief of police, one of the largest suburban forces in the county with 2,500 officers. The criminal charges hastened Spota's exit from the office after 16 years as the top prosecutor in Suffolk County. The guy got what he deserved. Like, you've got that kind of title and you're dealing that dirty? Oh, what? You deserve everything you got. Already a lame duck for foregoing a re-election bid, Spota announced his retirement just days after he was charged amid growing pressure from politicians and the public. So Burke, he pled guilty back in February 2016 for violating and punching a victim, Christopher, and way more. Christopher Loeb's civil right and obstructing justice for leading a conspiracy to conceal his involvement in the assault. He finished his prison sentence in April. So they're not telling you really how bad that Christopher Loeb got it, but they beat the snot out of that kid. Burke attacked Loeb in a police station. Don't worry about that sound. Don't worry. I don't even know what it is. Don't worry about it. Burke attacked Loeb in a police station interrogation room after Loeb was arrested for breaking into the ex-chief unlocked department issued GMC Yukon and stealing a bag that contained his gun belt, ammunition, a box of cigars, and a bag containing some real bad stuff, S toys and P. Like, and some say, how do you say this? Deleting videos. One article, so I mean, this is not gospel, this is not 100%, but someone was saying that one of the videos was played at the station, this deleted video, and that allegedly Burke laughed through it. Like, that makes me want to vomit. Are you kidding me? Loeb spoke to the judge before Spota and Mcparkland were sentences. For well over a decade, I've personally endured horrendous crimes committed by and under this man, Loeb said, referring to Spota. No one could have this much power or should have this much power and be above the law. And, you know, the thing is I think they all believed they were above the law. I think they thought they were the law. Sounds like it's a Harley starting up out there. Nice. So let's see. Loeb's 3-year prison sentence was vacated after Burke pled guilty. Authorities suspected he was stealing from cars to buy H. Suffolk County District Attorney Timothy Siney said in a statement following the sentencing, the actions of these defendants represent the worst of law enforcement. Federal prosecutors hinted that Spota and Mcparkland's, we will hear about him more, alleged involvement in the cover-up prior to Burke's sentencing, writing a court paper that high-ranking officials from other Suffolk County agencies had helped the former chief silence potential whistleblowers. This is the stuff that was going on. Literally, this is how that area was being run. Corrupt AS. Like, what? Well, hey, Shauna, good to see you, friend. Good to see you. As always. Well, hey, Perry, good to see you, too. Good to see you, friend. Happy Sunday. Okay, let's see here. Spota. Ooh. So according to federal prosecutors, Spota, Mcparkland, Burke, and the police officers met and talked on the phone to discuss how to conceal Burke's role in the attack on Loeb. In addition to pressuring people to not cooperate, they asked witnesses to provide investigators with false information and withhold relevant information. That almost sounded like elephant. Relevant information. Police officers who received subpoenas from the FBI were interrogated afterwards by Burke's allies whether they had talked. Prosecutors had said some were warned if they admitted wrongdoing, their union would not pay for their legal fees. Prosecutors have said. Ooh, ouch. Some police officers were in the interrogation room when Burke walked in and attacked Loeb, prosecutors say, at an August 2015 meeting involved some of the people involved in the alleged cover-up. Prosecutors said Mcparkland warned Loeb did not get attacked badly. And there were no marks and nothing would happen as long as the people that were in that room with Loeb did not talk. Yeah. One of the great leaders, right? Oh, hey, good news, Perry. That's always a good way to start your day. Nice. Nice. And hey, Shauna, I hope you're well. I know she's always so busy, but she does pop in and say hi. Part of the family. I like it when you can literally pick your own family. You guys are the best. No, thank you. And Jazzy, why are you? Yeah, you're starting to sing. I'm going to see if I can make this any bigger. I think I can. I think I can. We don't want that. Closing. Woohoo! So this is from the Long Island Press, and I do believe they are in the description. August 25, 2023. Suffolk County District Attorney. Boom. Spotted during a press conference in July 2012. The Federal Appeals Court has affirmed the corruption convictions of disgraced ex-Suffolk County District Attorney Tom Spota and his former top deputy Christopher McFarland, his public corrupt bureau chief, who were found guilty of covering up a high-profile police attack. Yeah, like, what the hell? Just above the law in their brains. Yeah, look at them. They usually have music with this stuff, so I don't take the chance. Spota McFarland, corrupt convictions, upheld on appeal. A federal appeals court has affirmed the corruption conviction of disgraced ex-county Suffolk County District Attorney Tom Spota and his former top deputy Christopher McPartland, his public corruption bureau chief, who were found guilty in covering up a high-profile police attack. Oh, Jazzy. So a panel of judges for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in Manhattan issued a ruling rejecting, it doesn't give a date, it just says Friday, so I'm not sure, rejecting Spota and McParkland's arguments seeking to overturn their convictions for blocking the federal investigation into ex-Suffolk Police Chief James Burke, who later pled guilty to attacking a handcuffed system who stole Burke's bag of toys. Toys, ammunition, and just more toys. Disgusting, disgusting. Why the court upheld Spota McParkland's convictions. We conclude the district attorney did not abuse its discretion in admitting the evidence on the officer's fear of retaliation, that any error in admitting the evidence relating to Burke was harmless, and that Spota and McParkland's other arguments were held without merit. We affirm the judgment of the district court, and the judges wrote in their rulings, the pair had argued that the court had improperly admitted the evidence of officers' fears of retaliation. As they're saying it was irrelevant and inflammatory. Well, if they were in that exact same room and saw exactly the same as everybody else, I think there is right to fear retaliation, knowing what these people have done. And I think they've done a lot more, personally. Sorry, gotta hydrate. Spota. Thomas J. Spota, former Suffolk County District Attorney Thomas J. Spota. I think they're doing bad things, guys. What led to Spota and McParkland's convictions? In 2012, 3 Suffolk County detectives, Kenneth Bombace, we'll hear about him, Anthony Letto, we'll hear about him, and Michael Malone, we will hear about him. interrogated Christopher Lowe before Burke stepped in and assaulted him, only stopping when other officers eventually intervened. I mean, really? Because he stole your bag of toys? Yeah, that's your mistake. You're taking that stuff to work. What the hell are you up to? So Burke allegedly put Lieutenant James Hickey, that we will learn about, in charge of ensuring that no officers talk about the incident. When the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District investigated the attack in 2013, Burke, Spota, and Mcparkland used their influence to prevent any witnesses, officers from cooperating, the court said, and the district turned up insufficient evidence. No. The investigation turned up no. But when Bombace, Letto, and Hickey were granted either immunity or cooperation deals, they admitted their role in the conspiracy to cover up the attack. And Burke was eventually charged, 2016. After resigning in late 2015, Burke served 46 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release for his charges. So up to 2018 or early 2019. Spota and Mcparkland were convicted on 2 counts of conspiracy to tamper with witnesses, obstruct an official proceeding, substantive witnesses tampering, and obstruction of an official proceeding, obstruction of justice, and being accessory after the fact to the deprivation of the civil rights of victims. The appeals court ruling comes days after Burke was arrested again this week on unrelated circumstances when he allegedly solicited a worker at a Suffolk County park. They call that Pickle Park. So Burke had his pickle out at Pickle Park trying to find, how do you put that, Mexi? A peppered pickle? So what they did, we've looked at this a little bit earlier. I think it was last night or yesterday afternoon. So this guy that he approached was undercover. He did get 4 charges, but 2 of the main ones have been dropped. So still an interesting thing. Timothy Bolger is an editor-in-chief of the Long Island Press who's been working to uncover unreported stories since shortly after it launched in 2003. When he's not editing, getting hassled by the man, or fielding cold calls to the newsroom, he covers crime, general interest, and political news, in addition to reporting longer, sometimes investigative features. But he won't be happy until everyone is as ticked off as he is about how screwed up Long Island is. So check him out. Oh my word, guys. Yeah, it's nice to see everyone together. I love it. Okay, so let's take a boo here. I think my dog's locked out. She's crying. Appeals denied for ex-Suffolk County DA Tom Spota aid feds. There was 2 sentences to 5 years in prison for covering up an attack on a man who stole a bag from ex-police chief with toys, pee, and other stuff. Tom Spota. Naughty young man. Can you guys talk among yourself for about 2 seconds here, please? Are you locked out or locked in, girlfriend? Mom to the rescue. How's it going? There you are. Good ladies. Always use such good ladies. Okay. Two more seconds. Cookie and a cookie. And we're ready to go. So, Long Island, New York, Circuit State Court of Appeals and Second Circuit has upheld the convictions of the former Suffolk County District Attorney Thomas Spota and his former principal deputy. Like, look at how high up these guys. I mean, Christopher Mcparkland. Oh my God, you dumb. What is it? Ish? The news comes just days after former Suffolk County Police James Burke, Police Chief James Burke, who once led the Gilgo Beach probe and was arrested and charged for soliciting stuff from a male undercover agent. Good. According to John Marzulli, Public Information Officer for the United States Attorney's Office, Eastern District of New York, both Spota and Mcparkland, whose appeals were denied, were convicted on charges including conspiracy to tamper with witnesses and obstruct an official proceeding, substantive witness tampering and obstruction of an official proceeding, obstruction of justice, and being accessory after the fact to deprivation of the civil rights of a victim. Spota and Mcparkland were represented by attorneys Ellen Weingrad and Larry Kranz. Neither immediately responded for a request of a comment. And there we go. In August 2021, Spota, 81 years old, and Mcfarland were found guilty by a jury in 2019 for covering up an incident in which a man was attacked after he stole a duffel bag from Burke with a bunch of toys. Okay, what don't we know? Yeah, Spota was also fined an extra $100,000. So sentences stemmed from the defendant's December 2019 convictions following a 6-week federal jury trial. They were convicted on all 4 counts of the indictment, including conspiracy to tamper. And we know all this stuff. On December 12th, the then Chief James Burke physically and verbally assaulted a shackled individual. So this is again Christopher Loeb. I do believe, from what I've heard, that he was hooked to the ground, not to a desk, but literally to the floor somewhere. That's what I've heard. This is all about looking for the dildo. After 2012 assault, Burke ordered high-ranking lieutenants. Isn't that what a way to word that? So, what did he have on these boys, do you think? After the 2012 assault, Burke ordered ranking lieutenants of the SCPD to ensure that the detectives and officers who had witnessed this would never reveal what they observed, federal officials said. Burke also enlisted the help from Spota and Mcparkland to ensure that the witness kept quiet. Having served as the Suffolk County DA for over a decade, Spota had successfully helped Burke avoid legal trouble regularly during the decades-long friendship. So this is not a first, just maybe the worst. Mcparkland, who worked directly under Spota, also had built a close friendship with Burke Do you know what? That means these guys are all like-minded. All like-minded. We know what Burke was doing. Now that is messed up. Yeah, they had to know what he was up to. There's no way they didn't. I bet you they were at the parties. I don't know. The more I learn about this little group here, the further you want to dig. A federal grand jury investigated into low assault, and a civil rights deprivation was opened by the U.S. Attorney's Brooklyn office with the assistance of the FBI in the spring of 2013. And this was put out in a release. Burke, Spota, Mcparkland used the power of influence of their office position, official position, and the threat of retaliatory arrest and prosecution to keep everyone cooperating with that investigation. Federal officials said in a release, because of their obstructive efforts, the federal investigation was unsuccessful and was closed approximately 8 months later. Local law enforcement eyewitnesses had been frightened into silence as they feared retaliation against themselves and their families from within the Suffolk County Police Department and the district attorney's office. You know, the wrong people get this type of power, and it's a mess. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Burke pled guilty to civil rights, and we know that he got the 46 months. Ooh, so it looks like Loeb was paid $1.5 million after he filed the federal lawsuit against Suffolk County by a report by 1010 Wins said. Spota and Christopher Mcparkland are guilty of ruining lives of so many other families. They're guilty, Loeb wrote on Facebook in 2019. Both men denied the charges. Multiple reports said the verdict today confirms what I said on May 12th, 2016, when I stood on the steps of the district attorney's office calling on him to resign, that Tom Spota, along with Christopher Mcparkland, was running a criminal enterprise out of the district attorney's office. Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone said back in 2019, the allegations of covert spying threats made against perceived enemies, relentless intimidation tactics, and outright fear were spelled out clearly by federal prosecutors. I commend them for their outstanding work. You guys gonna just sit there and cry just because I'm doing a live, right? You should be napping. It's that time. So he added at the time, he called for his resignation. Okay. So before his resignation, Tom Spota, his power was at its peak and their criminal enterprise was in full swing. This culture of corruption has had a real profound impact. They've ruined lives and destroyed careers. Ballone said at the time that the Suffolk County Attorney, Sinisini, had restored integrity into the office. 2016, Ballone publicly called on Spota to step down with claims that Spota was operating a criminal enterprise that must be stopped. Look at this, guys. Like, it's coming down. It has to. The actions of these defendants represented the worst of law enforcement, said Sini at the time. Their conduct had devastated many people. Individuals deprived Suffolk residents of what they deserved from public officials, and it was a disservice to all the honest, hardworking men and women of law enforcement. We need to refrain remain focused on continuing our progress and ensuring that the day has passed that we'll never have again. So, it's just dirty, dirty, dirty. When this kind of corruption, it comes from a high level, and it's scary because you really have no idea. You just think they're possible of everything. And you know what? I think they are. I think they are. I personally have had the odd really bad experience basically for no reason, except people thought that because they had a badge meant they could get away with anything. This is kind of a scary time, but there was that. I tell you what, guys, my life has been, I don't know, a roller coaster ride through hell. I have so many stories that I could share that would literally make your head spin. Is like, what? I told you about Cappy, but oh my word, there's stories, friends. And I have to tell you, I don't have any kind of record, not of any sort, never have, never will. I'm a good girl. But I can also tell you that there's some really bad ones out there from experience. Yeah, welcome to my life. Well, hey, Wolfie. Well, James, good to see you, friend. Perry. Oh, you have a wonderful day, Wolfie. It's always good to see you, my friend. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at retired Suffolk detective who says he feared being targeted by Burke and the DA's office. So let's start back here.
Trial of former Suffolk DA Thomas Spota, a glimpse into the atmosphere inside the Suffolk Police Department after the beating of a burglary suspect.
And News 12's crime reporter Eileen Palmer was in the courtroom.
Former Suffolk detective Kenneth Bombace told jurors there was fear and paranoia within the ranks of the Suffolk County Police Department in the years after he took part in the 2012 assault on suspect Christopher Loeb with then Police Chief James Burke.
So there is so much that happened just within this little group and the people that feared them, whether they were law enforcement agencies or whether they were, ish disturbers. Everybody feared this man and they feared his cohorts.
A fear of crossing Burke, and he said the district attorney's office, which was under Tom Spota.
How great is America?
Bombace gave examples to jurors of a deputy inspector who Burke wasn't fond of, he said, who had a GPS tracking device put on her county car, and a detective who was criminally prosecuted for leaking information to the media.
What?
Jurors of a deputy inspector who Burke wasn't fond of, he said, who had a GPS tracking device put on her county car, and a detective who was criminally prosecuted.
I tell you what, they were criminal AF in my personal opinion. Like, they wanted and had, I do believe, full charge of every little thing in that massive area. And I think that they probably targeted the Long Island area even more. I mean, just wait, guys. Just wait to see what we've got going.
For leaking information to the media. Bombace, who has immunity from prosecution, was escorted from an underground garage at the federal courthouse after his testimony in the obstruction of justice trial of former district attorney Tom Spota and his chief aide, Christopher Mcparkland. On the stand, Bombace testified he felt pressure to keep quiet about the Loeb assault, not only from Burke and his lieutenant, James Hickey, but from police union officials. Bombace said he was worried if he cooperated with the federal investigation, something could happen to his children or himself with made-up criminal charges.
You see how scary that would be? They could do anything to you, and they could make you disappear if they wanted to. They were the highest. Like, they could have done anything. I would have been concerned too. I probably would have moved.
He said in 2015, right before he did testify before the grand jury, he was so concerned about a confrontation that he and his family went into hiding in a Nassau County hotel. He testified, quote, "I had an underlying fear that if I went to see my attorney, that I would be targeted." When asked by whom, he said by Chief Burke and his associates.
See, I didn't know they were going to say this, but that is exactly 1000% how I would feel about the situation.
What I perceived was the district attorney's office, too. But on cross-examination, Christopher Mcparkland's attorney told Bombace that he was going to ask questions and wanted him to answer only to what he had direct knowledge of, not assumptions. Larry Krantz drilled Bombace, saying, "You never spoke to Mcparkland about the Loeb investigation. He never told you to lie. Anything else to intent was just assumption." Bombace agreed, but added that it was, quote, "based on my past experience."
Now, attorneys for Spota and Mcparkland have denied their clients knew that Burke assaulted Loeb. The government's key witness in all this, Lieutenant James Hickey, is not expected to testify until next week. Stone.
Yeah, Stone.
Begin with the testimony today that gave
Unreal. Unreal, guys. All the way down. I don't think we'll worry about that one. La-di-da-da. This is a very interesting one. We all knew Burke did it. Prosecutor's star witness returns to the stand for the trial of former Suffolk DA top aide. Wow. Let me see if I missed anything. Hello, hello, hello. I was thinking last time I watched, I wish they had enough to search Burke's house. Wonder what he has in there. Also wonder if they are watching him to see if he's disposing of evidence or anything along those lines. Or tapping his phone. You know what? I agree, friend. Like, oh my word. I agree. You know, part of me thinks that they are watching him. Something just tells me that they're watching a few people. I could be wrong, of course, but in my mind, there's more. And I think they'll come out and we're going to start hearing a lot of the ish that he was up to. And this is sad. Let's go back here.
In a central Islip courthouse. He was testifying in hopes that he would not have to do an on trial in a central Islip courthouse. A retired Suffolk police lieutenant returned to the stand today to testify against the former Suffolk DA and his top aide. News 12 crime reporter Eileen LaPalmer was there.
Lieutenant James Hickey spent hours undergoing cross-examination on the witness stand today, grilled about what he previously told prosecutors and about how he lied under oath in a separate trial back in the 1990s. And numerous times during that cross-examination, Spota's defense attorney brought up Jim Hickey's extramarital affairs, 4 of them within 7 to 8 years. Defense attorneys for former Suffolk DA Tom Spota and his investigator Christopher Mcparkland looking to discredit Hickey as a liar. Alan Weingrad getting Hickey to tell the jury that he lied to his wife for years and invented cover stories to keep those multiple affairs going.
Morning.
Hickey is the government's star witness, the only person so far who has testified that he had direct meetings and conversations with Spota and Mcparkland about covering up for Police Chief James Burke, who had assaulted a suspect in 2012 along with other Suffolk detectives.
Chief, do you have anything else to say? Are you still denying the accusations?
Hickey was asked how many times Burke spoke of the assault while Spota was in the room. Hickey replied, not that often.
It's just, it blows me away. I mean, this was realistically not that long ago. And that type of corruption was going on right in front of everybody's eyes.
But added there was no need to because, quote, I assume Spota knew from Burke because Spota knew. We all knew Burke did it. We were covering it up.
Hickey also testified that when Burke knew he was going to be arrested, he told him he was willing to do 3 years playing cards with mobsters. The defense asked Hickey if he was testifying in hopes that he would not have to do any jail time, and he said yes. Stone.
All right.
All righty. Let's see. Spota's defense attorney called into question the credibility of Lieutenant James Hickey, saying he lied under oath. But you know what? If we're talking about marital affairs, what the heck has that got to do with this? No. Spota and Mcparkland's defense attorneys have maintained their clients did not obstruct justice because they did not know that Burke had attacked Loeb. Yeah, well, I say BS. Hickey also testified that when Burke knew he was going to be arrested, he told him he was willing to do 3 years playing cards with mobsters. Look at how they don't even take it seriously. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, look what's just happened. They need to, yeah. James, I just looked over there, what you said. Criminal conspiracy. I'd use the RICO Act against them. They'd never see the light. So why wouldn't they use the RICO Act on them? That's very well said, my friend. Because that's exactly what that is for. I would love for them to search. I'm looking at this again. I would love for them to search Burke's house. Absolutely. You know, the fact that they dropped a couple of these charges against him, I find that a little bit disturbing because I think possibly one of them might have led to doing some kind of search. Yeah, like those tapes. 1000%, my friend. So while I am visiting, I always forget to say this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Join the family. We have some brilliant people here. Brilliant. Oh, yeah, he did. Spota covered for Burke. Straight up. Yeah, straight up. Damn, I like the idea of that RICO. So let's see here. Now, Long Island News is in the description. Let me double check before I get myself in trouble. If it's not, I will add it. Just want to make sure, guys. Let me see. Long Island News we've got. Okay, come back there with you guys. Does this sound accurate? So a long line of police covering for one another. So possibly Spota might have had a corrupt boss that he worked for. So you get used to the covering for one another. Do you know what? Corruption. Yeah, I can put that up for you, friend. Corruption in the chief before Spota. You know what? I don't even know. I haven't looked in to see who was his predecessor. But yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, ish runs downhill, right? Let's take a look here.
Shell testimony today in the trial against the former Suffolk DA and his top aide. Government's key witness took the stand, and he was pointing fingers. News 12's Eileen LaPalmer was in the courtroom.
James Hickey on the witness stand for hours today. The now retired Suffolk police lieutenant is the first government witness to testify he had direct conversations with then District Attorney Tom Spota and his top investigator Christopher Mcparkland about covering up for Police Chief James Burke.
Chief, do you have anything else to say, or are you still...
So this is the thing, guys. What else have they covered up? I would really like to know. I think they're the key. I think that they know pretty much everything he did because somehow I think they were under his thumb, not the other way around. What do you guys think about that? Who was running the show?
Denying the accusations?
Burke had beaten suspect Christopher Loeb in December of 2012 after Loeb stole Burke's duffel bag that contained a gun belt and pornography. Hickey testified he had numerous meetings with Spota, Mcparkland, pornography.
What the hell's going on there? What has he got? So is this like a laptop? They took some discs out of here. Some money. MasterCard. Clickers, clickers, clickers. So what is this? Like a laptop, guys?
Hickey testified he had numerous meetings with Spota, Mcparkland, and Burke and was told, quote, "We need to keep Burke out of jail. We all know Burke did it." He said he then became the middleman, tasked with making sure
You see? We all knew it.
the other Suffolk detectives who took part in the Loeb beating would keep quiet and lie for Burke. Hickey testifying that police union officials were in on it too, looking out only for Burke's interest. Hickey says there was constant pressure, saying, quote, "Spota, Burke, and Mcparkland would constantly tell me I need to keep my guys in line, in check, and report back up any change in that situation."
Some of the guys got
wow.
they were really good cops, but guess what?
There was also testimony today about
That is unreal, you guys. You know, I've done a deep dive on what's been going on there, and I know that from the little bit that I have learned, there is so much more that is hidden. We just can't get it. A lot of this information that we need, everyone's still pretty tight-lipped. To get a resolution, we need some facts. You know, and everybody knowing what Burke did and not saying anything. Understandably so. He would be terrifying with, look at what he's got on top of him. It would be terrifying. And the man didn't give an ish. So this whole thing, what do you guys think? Were they under Burke's thumb? Did he have something on them? Like, is it possible they knew what was going on at that house in, was it Ocean Parkway or on the beach there at Gilgo Beach? Yeah. Were they there? Why is he being protected?
legislator Rob Trotta. In 2012, he was still a Suffolk police detective, and Hickey said there was panic when Trotta started asking questions about the assault. Hickey said Spota and Mcparkland referred to Trotta as, quote, "a dangerous guy who would pick through your garbage," and could get his friends in federal law enforcement to investigate.
I take very, very, very much pride in being called a dangerous man in Suffolk County because clearly these are criminals. They've polluted the entire police department. They've polluted the entire Suffolk County government. What's concerning.
So it does look like some kind of honesty. Some maybe good people are going to start taking over from the ish. And if that is the case, we're going to hear more. We're going to start learning more and more and more and more. As we're learning, DNA is improving.
To me is the officials, the police union officials that may still be employed by Suffolk County that are continuing to pollute the political system in this county.
And Hickey also testified about the tremendous pressure that he felt to conspire, telling the jurors that Burke at one point even showed up at his mother's wake to ask if the people under his command were holding up and keeping quiet.
Oh my
Hickey
God.
has not yet been cross-examined. That'll happen next week when the jury returns. But during their openings, the defense already working to discredit Hickey, saying he has memory problems because he drinks a lot and was once hospitalized for having
Oh my God.
hallucinations. We're here at federal court in.
Oh, you see, let's just spin this all over the place. This is where the BS starts coming in. Lieutenant James Hickey, who is now retired from the force, was the first person to testify, and he had direct conversations with Spota and Mcparkland about covering up the attack on Christopher Loeb by former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke, also known as Jimmy Burke. But no, I don't like him enough to be calling him Jimmy. Burke was accused of attacking Christopher Loeb in December of 2012. Hickey testified that he had numerous meetings with Spota, Mcparkland, and Burke, and was told, "We need to keep Burke out of jail. We all know what Burke did it." Hickey said he became the middleman tasked with making sure the other Suffolk detectives who took part in the Loeb attack would also keep quiet and lie for Burke. He said that the police union officials were in on it too. So that's the union. Like, are you kidding me already? Oh my God. Oh boy. Like I said, that wasn't long ago, and this ish was running around. Like, are you kidding me? In this day and age. So, with that said, maybe they'll do a little bit of tracking on Burke now that they know that some stuff, maybe they can get some data because, you know, we've got good people now, it looks like. Like, let's find their demons. They're dangerous. So Hickey also testified about the tremendous pressure he felt to conspire, saying that Burke even showed, like, what the hell, at his mother's wake. How threatening would that feel? To ask him whether anyone under his command was holding up and keeping, everyone under his command was holding up and keeping quiet. OMG. Spota, Burke, and Mcparkland would constantly tell me I need to keep my guys in line, in check, and report back any change in that situation, said Hickey. Wow. There was also testimony about legislator Rob Trotta. In 2012, he was still a Suffolk police detective, and Hickey said there was panic when Trotta started asking questions about this attack. Hickey said Spota and Mcparkland referred to Trotta as a dangerous guy who would pick through your garbage and who would get his friends, the federal law enforcement, into an investigation. Trotta said outside his central Islip courthouse, I take pride in being called a dangerous man. In their opening statements, the defense team worked to discredit Hickey, saying he had memory problems and drank a lot. Like, what? Oh my God, they will. You know, this is where I end up having some problems is like, Jimmy the pickle. Prickly pickle. Damn. You've always got something, James. I gotta love you. Oh, yeah. I'm just going up, taking a look at what you guys are. You guys are always coming up with like the best stuff. I tell you what. Like I do. You guys give me so many good ideas chit-chatting with you that it will, you know, I'll write something down and I'm down that hole looking. So I do. Visiting with you is important to me because, like I've always said, you guys have the best ideas. You're all brilliant in my mind. So let's see. Okay. Wolfie. Cops always cover up for cops. True story, my friend. Yeah? Perhaps Burke was just a super bad apple and they tried to cover it, or was a chronic problem. Clearly, there were good police like the one that walked away. Oh, okay, let me say that again, friends. Clearly, they were good police in there like the one that walked out away to get away when Burke watched, I think. But yeah, I think he hid, didn't he? Oh, watched the bad video. Okay. Yeah. I understand. Probably been corrupt for years and years. You know what? Absolutely. Do you know how deep that rabbit hole would be, James? Right now, I am rabbit holing these guys because it's not just Burke. And as far as I'm concerned, there has been possibly some stuff on Gilgo Beach that he might know about. And I am a little concerned as to whether or not there was any connection to Shannon Gilbert. We have learned that Dr. Defib, he was the emergency doctor for the cops. If they skin their knees, they call Dr. Defib. If he's just the surgeon, he knew the surgeon, he knew the doctor. They would be other's contact. So the fact that something went sideways, it's starting with Dr. Defib calling Mary, or did he call the sister and say that he had seen Shannon? Sus. I did. I've ordered. I've got one, but I'm going to order a few more for my cases in merch. I think they're about 80 pages. You can buy bound or unbound. I do believe that's the way they are. And they're the same price. So that's a little confusing to me, but whatever. So I'm going to get them because I need them in front of me so I can take all my notes. Because right now, all my notes are in one particular area. And nah. So I'll let you know if I'll let you know what they're like when I get one. I also ordered one of those 16-ounce glasses. I'll let you know about those as well. The coffee mugs, I've changed it. It's up to the new logo. But I've got the ones from Franky Rose's Think Tank. And I'm kind of glad. I just got a couple, but I'll put them away. They're my little treasures. Yeah. Probably James. But there is corrupt, like getting off a speeding ticket. It's bad covering up unalivings. I know somehow have faith that the majority are good people. Yeah, right? I mean, I've run into some pretty crooked boys that are in cop suits. Let me tell you. And they're not all like that. I've got a relative, well, through marriage, and he was like in one of the cities, he was the head of so many different, I mean, he was head of homicide, head of the gang unit, and he was high up in that city. But I tell you what, he's just a doll and very dedicated. So I do know there's some good ones out there. But like I say, I've sadly had to deal with a couple corrupt ones through life. And yeah, it's no good. I'm native like that, or perhaps I've got good morals. I think that. Oh, not native. Or perhaps I have good morals. You do have good morals, Wolfie. You've got great morals. Everybody in here has great morals. It's one of the many things that bind us. Burke would be so easy to blackmail. The kid that found the... Yeah. Yeah, he could. But you know what? I don't think he left that area. And he probably knew how corrupt it was all the way up. So, but he did get a huge amount of money. He did. Jimmy the Pickle. Yep, he did. He called Shannon Gilbert's mom Mary, right? Okay. I thought of something last week. So imagine police person unalive someone. So they put their victims in the same spot as Gilgo, unalive it. Absolutely. Boom. I totally think that is possible. And you know what? I am not convinced yet that Burke doesn't know Rex. I don't know that yet. And it would be a great... No suitcases, James. No. Duffel bag. Duffel bag. So please, nobody mail me a suitcase. But yeah, I think that's an absolute great thought. Yeah, Burke just stopped the whole investigation, told the FBI to go home, sent everybody else home. Like, unreal what they did. They made sure there was no suspects, I guess, or no witnesses, I guess is what you say. Just one of those, like, are you freaking kidding me? These guys have a lot of great information, so do check News 12 Long Island. They are in the description. Like, isn't that something? Is my back door open again? Of course it is. Oh my goodness. Do you know what else they're saying was in his suit or in that bag of of James in the back of his vehicle? Well, they're saying there was Gilgos. You know what I mean? Viagra. Because we did hear from Leanne, the working girl, that was her first introduction, and he wasn't very nice. But she said he just couldn't do it. So he got mad at her. Yeah. So, yeah. That's true, Virginia. I've came across quite a few bad ones. I'm probably a little bit prejudiced. That's the problem, right? Stephen King's next book should be called Gilgo Beach. If no suitcases, any body size, suit covers, asking for a friend. Jimmy the floppy pickle. Oh, right. Oh my God, that's probably why the Gilgo was there. Gildo? Yeah, sorry, Gildo. Oh my word. So this one, so some of these, as you're probably noticing, are older, but that's the only way I'm finding out what they were doing at the time, because there's absolutely nothing right now. There maybe on Spota a little bit, but as far as everybody else, like, yeah, so they're all a little bit old, and it's telling us right when things are happening. So it's kind of, to me, some of the best information you can get. Looks, did we watch this? It says so. Let's look.
Beating a suspect is back on the stand in the obstruction trial of the county's longest-serving district attorney.
News 12 Long Island's Eileen LaPalmer was in the federal courtroom and has the latest.
Retired Suffolk detective Anthony Letto got choked up as he told jurors he lost his family and his career by lying for years to cover up the 2012 assault of suspect Christopher Loeb. Letto admitting he slapped Loeb as then Police Chief James Burke hit, kneed, and threatened to inject Loeb with a fatal dose of heroin.
What?
Letto was escorted from the federal courthouse after he
No,
finished
no.
his testimony in the government's obstruction of justice case against former Suffolk District Attorney Tom Spota and his investigator Christopher Mcparkland, both men accused of covering up for Burke. Letto testified that he lied for years because, quote, "I feared for my everything, my job, my partners, my well-being, my family, everything. They had a lot of power. I was afraid I would be set up, my kids would be set up, or I would be set up for the whole thing."
Yeah,
But
that
under
is the kind of
cross-examination,
fear.
Defense attorneys asked Letto point blank, "Did you ever have a direct conversation with Spota or McPartland about the Loeb case?" Letto admitted he did not. The jury also hearing from a
Okay, guys, did I watch this with you or did I watch this alone this morning? Have you guys seen this? So do you think that nobody will be held accountable on anything current, or do you think the police will do their best to dig into Burke and possible connections? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that scary? Isn't that totally scary? Kanye news? Well, I've got one more to go through with you guys. It's been a little bit longer than usual. Okay. Oh, way down. So what's this? Have you ever been that? Oh, yeah? Have you ever been that out before? Shocking. Those accusations against Suffolk Police Chief, Riverhead, Long Island. So this is from when now? November 6, 2013. A man who was chained to the floor of a police interrogation was, now this is a little bit better than what, like more honest, I do believe, than what we've been seeing in a lot of things, was that by the chief of one of the county's biggest police departments, as well as a handful of officers, according to the man who, in graphic account to detail his rights, spoke in public on Wednesday for the first time. The man is Christopher Loeb, 27, and in Suffolk County Criminal Court, he was called to the stand in a pretrial hearing Wednesday afternoon. In this testimony, the man who's charged with taking items out of a dozen cars last December spoke what the hell spoke in detail of how he was brutalized, including by Suffolk County Police James Burke. He also said that Chief Burke had possessed, this is the stuff we're hearing, like really bad stuff, in a duffel bag Burke had stolen from the chief. Loeb also said that he denied access to an attorney, was denied for 3 days after his arrest, and that police also prohibited him from those 3 days from going before the judge. The law requires the suspect to appear before a judge within 24 hours. Oh my word. Look at it. Look at how crooked and how far up this goes. Like, it is just what? Among the specifics of Loeb's testimony on Wednesday was his arrest photo. In the picture, he said his left eye is swollen. I haven't seen this picture. And he had a scrape above his left eyebrow. According to Loeb, the photo was taken 10 hours after 4 police officers took their turn attacking him while his hands were cuffed and attached by a 6-inch chain to the floor of the cell. But yeah, this is what I've been hearing. Not that just a couple slaps. This is kind of what I've been hearing. Suffolk County 4th Precinct last December, the Chief of Police, James Burke, according to Loeb, cleared the abusive officers out of the interrogation room to attack Loeb up himself. Last December, Loeb stole items from a dozen vehicles in the village of St. James near Smithtown, Long Island. One of those vehicles was an unmarked SUV of Chief James Burke, from which Loeb took a duffel bag. Burke not only showed up at the young man's house to arrest him, according to testimony, the chief then had officers take him to the 4th precinct. There, Loeb said Detective Anthony Letto and 3 other officers gave him they attacked. According to Loeb's testimony, at the time, Detective Letto said, "Have you ever been..." You see, what's this? Why? So have you ever been that before? Said Loeb to Letto. Whisper in my ear while he was... And oh my God, like, I'm going to do this to your mother. Oh my God. He put his hands on my throat, squeezed my throat. Last thing I remember, I passed out. Loeb said this lasted about 15 minutes when then Chief Burke arrived, cleared everyone out of the room. He grabbed me by my cheeks. Loeb said in a court about the chief, he took his thumb and fingers and squeezed my face. Then Loeb said he punched me right above my headline. The larceny suspect also said that after the chief denied his repeated request for an attorney, I called him a name. I'm not going to say the name, Loeb testified, because it pertains to items in that duffel bag. Loeb further testified that the precinct, he said the chief had nasty, see, that's the thing again, they're talking about that deleting, I think. I think that's what that's all about. And that's probably his biggest concern. No, maybe not his biggest, unless there's lots to learn about this man. I'll just leave it at that. So let's see here. Loeb further testified at the precinct. He said the chief had that in a bag, to which the chief said, according to Loeb, no one will ever effing believe me because I am a convicted felon and one of those heads. It's also been said in court by arresting officer in recent weeks that Burke removed the duffel bag and a piece of evidence from Loeb's home where he'd been arrested. Way too much power. This man doesn't know how to handle it. Didn't. Chief Burke is expected in court. So this is before, so we won't go there. Loeb admitted to signing a larceny confession, but 2 different confessions were introduced in evidence. The second confession, Loeb said, had not been signed. The alleged forgery, Loeb said, he didn't know about for months until after he was arrested and put in the hoosgow. The FBI, U.S. Attorney's Office, and New York State Police are in a separate legal action investigating the accusations that Burke abused Loeb. So this goes big, wide, far, all of that stuff. You know, I'm just starting to learn some of these names. So I am going to dig a little bit further. That's what I spent my morning doing, was like, I wanted to know who the cops were. It's been driving me spooky. So I got on that first thing this morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm researching, going through all these different papers. I got 4 names and I thought, okay, I think that's all of them. And then I started looking into them and it's like, oh my God. So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of this is going to be hearsay. There's also a lot of it that is said in courtrooms. Yeah, there's a lot of it that's been said. So, you know, like anything, on channels like mine, I'm not educated. Everybody's got to kind of do their, I'm not educated in this. Everybody's got to look at their own kind of stuff. It's really easy to find on Google and what have you. But I just think, in my personal opinion, that the more we dig, the more we're going to find in this particular case. I don't think there's a time limit on. There isn't. No. You know, and I'd like to know, I mean, the ones that Burke was in control of, which was many, the ones that were higher up, they're the ones that I want to know about. What were they doing? Were they showing up at these parties on Ocean Parkway? No different. Yeah. No different than the Rex situation. I mean, you could find someone who's, well, look at, didn't they just get the Golden State guy, or isn't he like almost 80? But they got him. They got him. And I think now that it's been a few years, I think what we're going to start finding is we're going to be able to sift through a lot of it, you know, and I mean, you've got to. In my community posts, I added one of BTK's puzzles in there that he had sent to, I think he sent it to was it the cops? But it's really, really interesting. It's all in code. So you'll have to check it out. It might be missing some, but you can find, I'm not sure. With that said, I'm not sure if it is, but if you find that it didn't capture the whole thing, it is on a Google search. So, oh, right. Man, they need concrete evidence, like raid Burke's house and find stuff. I wonder what's on his computer. Oh, right, Wolfie? Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If he's, do you believe he's dumb enough to do that again? I think so. I think so. I think he might even still think that people have his back, but he'd be wrong. You know, people are tired of his ish. So guys, that's what I have on these guys right now. But I am watching everything I can. I'm downloading as much paperwork as I can, and I'll see what I can find because there's going to be more. And hopefully, both with this case, we need BTK looked at really, really good, different places he's been. See if there's any kind of matches to his MO. And, you know, you've got to do the same thing with Rex HEUERMANN and with James Burke. All three of them. There's more. It's just a matter of finding it. And hopefully, I mean, my uneducated guess is that the cops will be all over this new information and it'll start coming out. I want to see them find more of BTK's hidey holes. Very interested. Are you annoyed with what's going on with the BTK docs? What's going on with them? I try to go through articles and, you know, because there's so much stuff that just comes out that's like, what? I know. Okay, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that he took a long break. But you know what? I think the cops were saying that too. But at this point, it's ridiculous. Well, this is the thing. You know what? I agree 1000%. So if they're not looking, that's no good. Somebody needs to be looking. They have to look at all these different places that this man knew. Everywhere, you know? And the same thing goes with Rex. There's places like, look at that park, Massapequa Park, that is just like 3 blocks away. He's lived there his entire life. I know. This is the thing. Oh my word. So I just don't know what they're doing. I mean, maybe they're looking at this stuff because I can't imagine why they wouldn't. You know? I wonder, do you think, Wolfie, that they're doing some of that ground penetrating stuff to check? I don't know. Oh my God, right? Absolutely. You know, I was watching Dr. Catherine Ramsland was on a program. She gave a lecture and then she talked to a couple other people in the same profession, but she gave a lecture on BTK. And oh my God, was it good. She even says it. The guy doesn't know how to tell the truth. But she has known him now for 11 years. They still have contact. So if she says something, I trust her. Okay. I learned watching my friend Danny's true crime show. Cool. Yeah, I mean, oy. They did well, I wonder, could they have done most of that property earlier? I'm trying to make it make sense. So what is this friend? Danny's True Crime. Do you know his his channel link? I don't mind sharing it, friend. At all. We're gonna end pretty quick here. So what do you think? Worth a deep dive, guys? I really think so. I really, really do. I'll start my little, I'm still literally, I got file folders, old school. I've also, I've got my cloud, but if I need that paper in front of me to go over and over and over and over. Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Danny After Dark. Awesome. Hey, James, thanks for stopping by. As always, I always love your input, I swear. Oh, hey, cool. Cool. If we don't get it this time, make sure next time you're on, I don't mind promoting other channels. Not there's some I would never do just because I can't imagine. But I mean, good channels with the right heart. Absolutely. So there you go. Danny After Dark. Check it out, guys. This is our friend Wolfie's friend. So guys, I'm going to jump off again. Yeah, I'm big into the research rabbit holes right now, so I'll probably be in there somewhere. I don't know which rabbit hole, but I'll be in one of them. Oh, you subbed. Nice. Nice. Okay, guys. I adore you. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Honestly, I've said it before. You guys are what make the channel. You are the best of the best. I appreciate you. And I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye.